What's up, guys? James Visser here on a series that I'm going to be doing where I'm going to be covering questions that you guys have that I commonly get or that I've seen online that are common as far as real estate questions. So the first one I'm going to be covering is one that I've got a lot many times, and I know that my broker's got it many times as well, so we're going to go ahead and go over this very important question. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Episode 1. Let's go. Question 1. Should I sell my home in 2016? Guys, fantastic question right there. And I think one that many homeowners always are asking themselves. When's the right time to sell? When's the wrong time? When am I going to get the most money? Should I rent? What's the right thing to do? So let's go over some economic cycles and what the trends are showing is happening right now. So we all know that the economy goes like this. Historically, goes up and down and up and down and up and down. Doesn't matter if it's stocks, doesn't matter if it's real estate, whatever it may be, the economy fluctuates. Okay, so looking at this chart, you would think to yourself, well, as a buyer, I want to buy here. That's what you're thinking. And you're thinking, as a seller, I want to sell here. Now, that's very logical. Very logical. So let's step back and see where on this we are right now in 2016. One thing that dictates knowing if you should sell or knowing what the cycle's doing is knowing the amount of demand. Okay, so normally in real estate there's anywhere from 4 to 6 months of demand. Okay, now what this means is your house is if you list with just any agent who doesn't do anything, just does the bare minimum of putting a sign out front and doing one open house a month, and that's all they do, and throw it on the MLS with poor photos and this and that, your house is going to sit 6 months. More than likely. And you're not going to get a lot of money because the longer something sits, typically the less dollars you will get. Okay? That's just a fairly typical known fact. Okay, so even in this cycle, say you hire a superstar, you go hire me, a guy who's going to do everything, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, throw out ads all the time in the newspaper, whatever it may be. 4 months. Still probably going to sit 4 months on average. Now, I'm not saying that would actually happen. I think typically even in this cycle, I'll get your place sold a lot quicker. I'm just kidding, but seriously. So anyways, but still, 4 months, that's a long time. So if you sell in 4 months, that's still going to be slightly more than the guy who sells for 6 months. Obviously, this is relative. That's a relative statement. I'm not saying always a final, but I'm saying if you have a house that's appraised at $1 million, and so does the guy whose house takes 6 months to sell, your house is more than likely going to sell for more if it sells in 4 months rather than 6. So, what is demand right now? 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 months. Literally under half. I mean, that's a third of the time there. 1/3 of the time. Which means there is far more demand, which means even if you go to the guy that does the bare minimum, the guy who puts the sign out front, the cheap ad in the MLS, and does one open house a month, you're still probably going to sell in 2 months. Now granted, you're going to get less money here. Now again, you list with me, okay? Or someone else at Judson Real Estate. Boom. 1 month or less you're going to be listed for. And you're going to get significantly more money than this guy. again, relative statement. If this guy lists a $2 million house and this house is a $450,000 house, obviously numbers wise that's not true, but I'm saying in a relative sense, this person's going to get more money. Okay, so as you can see, the demand is way up, which means there is an abundance of buyers, which is what you want. As a seller, you want tons of buyers. Ideally, you want your house bidding up. You want 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offers by the time it's ready to close. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. Also, follow me on Instagram. Any questions, shoot me an email, james@judsonrealestate.net. I will link both those in the description box below. Another thing that very obviously affects housing is how many jobs there are. More jobs mean more people have money, mean more people can buy houses. Your house. Okay, so let's look at that. Since all the numbers I'm giving you today, by the way, are for San Diego specifically. Alright, so since 2007, get this, this is significant. We are up over 60,000 jobs. 60,000. That is major. I mean, that is major, major, major stuff, because that is 60,000 more people in 9 years that are now able to consider purchasing a home. Another big one, wages. Where are wages at? If wages are high, that means your home is going to be worth more. Okay? So since 2008, median income is up $6,000. Per capita income is up $6,000 in San Diego. Again, enormous, enormous. $6,000 is a big deal per year for people. Okay, so say they're a first-time home buyer and they want to qualify for that, 3.5% first-time buyer loan. Now, before they could afford a $400,000 home, now this $6,000 kicks in. Now they can afford a $450,000 home. So as a seller, more people are now qualified for higher values of homes, which what that does is takes the lower level of homes, puts pressure on them, and expands the price. Okay? So as a seller, things are trending up. Okay? So I know you buyers are watching this, and you're saying, oh my goodness, thank goodness I watched this video. Now I know that it's a terrible time to buy a home. Not true. Not true. There's always an opposite side to the coin. So tune in next week, and I'm going to do the same question, but with should I buy a home in 2016? So tune into that for sure. So anyways, just to go over this again, $6,000 increase in per capita wages since 2008, and since 2007, 60,000 more jobs, and that's continuing to increase. So both those things are major, major keys for you as a seller. Okay, here's another thing, and this is really kind of cut from the same cloth as the last figure I had on the board, but this is interesting as well. Since 2012, prices of low, mid, and high-level homes have all risen significantly. They all have. And this is all because of that last figure I had up, the 60,000 more jobs, and people are making more money. So what's happening is you're seeing this bottom line get pushed up, with pressure from buyers. And there's more buyers than sellers right now, hence the 1 to 2 months of demand, which, like I said, is 1/3 of the average. Okay? Say you bought a home in 2010. Okay? You bought it for, let's go ahead and say $400,000. 2016, you appraise it, you could sell it for $600,000. Okay? Now, that's That's significant because that's a 200K increase. Now, you're saying, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to roll that 200K into an investment or a bigger house or whatever it may be, but man, that's going to be a lot of taxes I'm going to have to pay. Incorrect. Not true. Because if you have lived in a house for 2 of the last 5 years, and you sell it, you do not pay tax on any of the gains, okay? So long as it's 500K, up to 500K per couple, and 250K for the individual. Again, that is vitally important. Vitally important. Say you're trying to build up your net worth or get some assets on board or get some backups to send your kid to college one day or whatever it may be. This is something you need to seriously consider. Because, I mean, there's very few ways to have this much earnings or added equity and have it untaxed. So, consider that. Last but not least, when are prices going to peak? And on the other side, when are they going to come back down? What's going to make them come back down, first of all? Historically, it's almost always the same reason. And what is that? That is increased interest rates. Okay. Right now, interest rates are extremely low. I remember my broker telling me a story that back in the day, she used to think that 10% interest rate was low. She used to think that was a great rate, 10%. Right now, we're sitting anywhere between 3 and 4%. I mean, that is ridiculous. Historically, that's ridiculously low, which is part of the reason that prices are going up, because since these rates are so low, it's attractive to buyers. Makes a lot of sense. You're going to save a tremendous amount of money paying 3 or 4% instead of 10. 1 point makes a huge difference. Okay? So, when are interest rates going to rise? Now, this is an answer that no one really knows. There's a lot of guesses, but no one knows for sure. However, most experts say, and that's the information I'm going to give you, is that the interest rates will rise in either at the end of 2016 or 2017. Now, I've also heard many experts say that they don't think it's going to be a crash like it was in 2007. They think that it's going to be more of a petering out of the growth. So things will kind of maybe more plateau or stabilize more so than crash. But this should be about when the interest rates rise again. So as a seller, given these stats, I don't even have to tell you, I think it's pretty clear, all the information that I've given you, but I think it would be best to sell before end 2016 if you want to ensure that there's going to be the most demand, because demand's going to drop when the interest rates go up. For sure, that's going to happen. So 2016 is a solid year to sell. To you buyers, don't get discouraged. Tune back in next week, and I'm going to come at you with more information in kind of the other side of the coin, if you will, to this topic here. So anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. First one, so it was fun, and hopefully I got you some good information. If you have any questions, again, email me, james@judsonrealestate.net. Get me on Instagram @JamesVisser, Facebook as well, and Judson Real Estate on Facebook. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.